Hello guys, welcome back to the Help with Harrz series where I review subscribers' gameplays to make them better Call of Duty players. Today we have an Invasion Control gameplay submitted, so if you're here to learn a little bit about how to play Invasion Control better, this video is going to be definitely for you, especially if you're an AR player because this gameplay uses an AR. On the flip side of that, the main focus of this video is going to be how to achieve that 1%, how to get into that top 1% of level in. How do you get from Crimson to Iridescent? Because for those of you who don't know, Iridescent tends to be about the top 1% of gamers. Crimson tends to be about top 5%. So how do you get from that top 5% to top 1%? I'm hoping to see things in this gameplay that are going to hopefully, jump out to me and say, okay, maybe fine tune that a little bit, maybe fine tune that a little bit. So if you're here to try and, what am I doing wrong in the details? If you feel like you're doing everything right, perhaps this video is going to highlight some things that you might not be seeing yourself that I'm going to be able to see from this gameplay. So yeah, let's have a read of the form. We'll go through the gameplay, and then we'll give a couple of tips at the very end to show, what two things I want this player to focus on to make them better and hopefully get them into that level where they're hitting that iridescent lobbies again. Now, obviously, this is a Crimson gameplay, but if you are bronze or above, this is for everyone. There's going to be tips in here that are going to make you, or hopefully help you at COD generally. And there's obviously going to be a massive focus on Invasion Control, game mode, map combination. So if you feel like that's something you're going to struggle on, obviously this is going to still help you. So yeah, without further ado, let's crack on with the submission form. So the player who submitted this is PK. They play 20 hours a week, which is considerably less than I would expect of someone at this level of caliber. So they're clearly a really good gamer. Their current rank is Crimson 2. So again, clearly decent players. Their highest rank last year was Iridescent, so correct. Sensitivity 66, FOV 100. So the settings are pretty much bang on as you would expect. They play on an unbelievably stacked PC, so they're probably going to be hitting about 250 frames, merely maxing out their monitor. And what would they like me to focus on? So rotation, aim, awareness, spawn IQ, all that sort of thing. So that's really easy, especially considering this is a control gameplay. Spawn IQ is going to be fairly lateral. There's not going to be too many surprise spawns, but we'll see how we affect those and we can manipulate those to the best of our advantage in this video. Let's have a read of what they've said here, and then we'll crack onto the gameplay. I feel like I don't respawns well. I go in pointless death freeze. Doesn't even feel like I'm dying to things I'm not expecting. More so timings or micro adjusting when shooting or spawn awareness. So the first thing I want to touch upon here is timings is often due to not having complete awareness of where people are spawning and knowing where your teammates are holding and things like that. But obviously you still do get COD timing. I'm just saying a lot of the times when people say timings, it's just poorer awareness. So we'll see how that plays out in the gameplay when we actually get into it. Besides that, I think I've always been pretty decent at COD, and I usually play in competitive environments, but just got back into COD towards the end of MW2. So considering you've just started at the end of MW2 and you hit IRI, you're clearly a straight shooter. So we're going to see how that pans out in the video later on. I think part of what I'm lacking is more money 8s challenges because I don't get that dope from ranked. So I kind of play with a it's just ranked attitude, and I think that might be the reason why I developed certain habits. Fine. So I'm going to touch on a couple of bits in this before we get into the gameplay itself, because I feel like there's some important things I want to sort of highlight. First of all, yeah, if you do see ranked as it's just ranked, you're not going to see yourself, or at least you're not going to have the subliminal message in your head that you want to try and get better. You are going to be more relaxed. You're going to be throwing your life away a little bit more. So if you really do, I get ranked, it's only ranked, it's SR, you're not playing for money. However, you've submitted the gameplay to become better at ranked, or at least Call of Duty. So you got to have the mindset of it's not only ranked. I know there's some things in ranked that you can't control, but a lot of it is controllable by you. So yeah, try not to be relaxed. See ranked as, there's money on the line and play it that way, and naturally you'll see improvement, and then you will have to be able, then you'll be able to relax when you've gotten to that next level up. With regards to the money 8s and challenges thing, challenges, playing 20 hours a week, challenges is probably going to be really tricky, at least if you want to be somewhat competitive against the competition. I know the EU scene is cracked. I'm not sure how the NA scene is. Obviously, you have the main top teams in the NA, but I'm not sure how below that it sort of pans out to the lower levels. So I'm a little bit naive to that. However, I feel like 20 hours a week, you'd have to scrim with a team in order to stand any chance against challenges. So I would say probably not the best route to go on. However, there are a multitude of options that will help you get that more serious sort of gameplay feel. XP League is something that operates, again, I'm not associated with any of these things I'm about to mention, they're just ideas. XP League is something I've been involved in Europe. Now, I don't have the link necessarily to the North America one or any other regions. However, if this is something you are looking for, drop it down in the comments, and I'm sure someone in the community will be able to help out. If not, I'll try and do some digging and see if I can find it. But XP League is essentially a league where you hop in with a team of 4, you pay a little bit to enter, and then you pay like a group stage, you then play playoffs and win, top 2 places of each group win. It's for most skill levels, so there's divisions 1 to 10. Obviously the Div 1 players are pretty much challenger players, and then the Div 10 players are people who play a little bit more relaxed and not quite as cracked at the game. And there's a whole spectrum in between that. So XP League's really good. Obviously game battles isn't a thing anymore, but obviously you've got Checkmate Gaming or CMG, COD Agent, who do some free, some paid tournaments. You can put wagers up, you can play for XP, you can play just like match finders on those. So I would definitely sign up for CMG and COD Agent, especially if you're in the US, because COD Agent is a bit crap in EU, to be honest, but in NA it's popping. So definitely sign up to those and just grind those instead of rank play if you want a little bit more of that serious approach, especially if you want to put money on the line, because then you're actually playing for money, and doing so will just give you good tendencies. Your norm will then end up being, in your head, you're playing for money, therefore you're playing it quite seriously. So then when you hop back onto ranked, you're playing as a natural state of a more competitive mindset, if that makes sense. Other than that, there's BPL. I've seen BPL like a little bit of an uprising in BPL with the amount of cheaters on ranked play, so it's obviously worth checking out the Discord for that. I've got a Discord to BPL EU and BPL C in NA, so I'll leave the links to all of the things I mentioned if I can find them down in the description below, so feel free to have a gander. So yeah, let's crack into the gameplay and see what we can do from a gameplay perspective. By the way, those tips go for everyone. If you want a little bit more of a competition and you don't feel like ranked play is sort of fulfilling you, any of those things are going to be super useful. So I've had to turn the gameplay down a little bit because there's game chat and there are some words that I do not want on my YouTube channel, so I've had to turn it down, so I do apologize for that. Okay, let's take this back a little bit here. So first of all, I really like this route. As you guys know, I love the route through middle. You can see how many people cross to B, and then depending on how many people you see cross to B through this little opening, you can then determine from here whether you want to help out at A or help out at B. So I like this push. Good kill. Yeah, that's a silly gameplay there. So that's a silly challenge. Now, I get you want to run at them because you've got them really weak. You get the first kill. Really nice kill. Notice the second. Get them absolute. And then you miss those shots. Now, at this point, you need to be running the bloody hell away. They could be anywhere. I mean, they could be, top tank. They could end up sitting on this heady over here. They could, slide cancel around the bin and just chow you. But you've also got to be very aware that you've got people who you haven't seen anyone else cross over to B on the initial push. So you could have anyone in cafe who might be trading you. And at the end of the day, you do get traded by someone who's pushed through to A. But yeah, this is probably not the wisest chow. This, again, it's probably that you need to play your life a bit more. So at this position, you need to think to yourself, okay, I'm not sure where they are. They could literally run back to dark and round that way if they wanted to. But failing that, in this situation, they're winning this gunfight 9 times out of 10. You're one shot, they're one shot. They've probably got time to reload because they're in cover, and then they can hop up on the tank and just absolutely beam you. So probably not the smartest way to play that there. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. Okay, so we've noticed there's a gap in A, so we're filling that. I like that. And you're seeing pressure towards the middle of the map. I like that. Playing for your teammates trade. Good kill. Okay, let's see what we could have done better there. So we actually read that player. So what I like, first of all, for those of you who don't see what this player's done, is they've come off spawn and they've looked at where the gaps are. Now, this might sound super simple, but I don't see enough people doing it. So this player's just come off of spawn this side, and they've seen that they've got teammates sort of over here and over here, but this whole line of sight's open as well as this whole middle bit here. So they've literally run off spawn and covered that. Now, what I see a lot of people not doing, if I just erase all this, what I see a lot of people not doing is that even though they can see all of their teammates are sort of pushed towards this half side of the map, they'll still come off spawn and run this way. So what you need to try and do on invasion, just for future reference, obviously this player already knows that, but for those of you who aren't doing this, when you look at the map when you spawn in and you notice no one's over this left-hand side whatsoever, you need to fill this gap, because otherwise an enemy could get through really, really, really easily. So yeah, let's have a quick look at... So we get the trade here. Okay, that was reactive. That's fine. You didn't read that. That's you just got traded. But again, you probably would have, if you'd played out of CAF and you played that street, you'd have probably had the info on that player immediately. Nice gunfight. Played really well there. You'll notice I'm looking quite a lot at the minimap here because invasion control is very much, you need to make sure you've got the 3 lanes covered. Big kill. That's it, push up. So at this point, I would have pulled up my TAC map. Now what that would do is give you the overlay of the entire map and you could see where's missing. Now, you're the furthest pushed up left here. So if I was, realistically, your teammate on the back left here who's just spawned in should look at their TAC map as well when they spawn in and see that the left needs to be picked up. From what I can see, you've got a teammate who's sort of sat in the middle of the map or convoy. And so this player who's just come off spawn needs to think, okay, I need to pick up left or middle, and then you're pretty much going to have this round in a win. Okay, so yeah, that teammate is convoy, picking up mid. Your teammate's picked up tank. This is good. This should be a really good round win. We're quite close to streaks as well. And yeah, this is great gameplay. You'll notice that your teammate requires help on the right, so you're trying to assist. Yeah, that's sort of rough. So what I would have done to improve upon this, so in an ideal world, on invasion, ignore these players, sorry, ignore these red dots. On an ideal world on invasion, when they're coming off offense, you would sort of have, you know, a player convoy, you'd have a player around middle, and then you'd have 2 people on the right hand side. That'd be the ideal setup for a B push. Now the reason for that is because they pretty much spawn all the way over here, so their natural inclination is to run, you know, down this route, and therefore you need like 2 players, as I say, over here just to cut off most of the gunplay. So what I'd have perhaps done in this situation to improve it is when you died, or when you come through middle like this, you didn't really need to do that. You sort of needed to communicate to your teammate who was coming off spawn. They need to fill that gap and sit on the mid tank and then watch this whole zone here. This teammate's got any zone here. And then, as I say, most of the traffic is going to be this way because they spawn here. And therefore, I would always have my preference and the focus over towards this P2 side, because otherwise you're just going to lose out on many gunfights. So yeah, we get the kill here. Just to recap what happened there. Yeah, it's almost too late. Your teammate needs to there's so many places you can sit on this side. You can either sit on the construction site just here, you can sit on the tank here, and then you can sit on the digger all the way on the left. As long as you've got a trophy at your feet, you're probably not going to die. So yeah, I'd put a little bit more emphasis towards that right-hand side of the map when they're all spawning up. And then trust your teammate who's just coming off spawn to fill that gap in the middle. Or at least you're in a 3-man, you can communicate that sort of thing. No, I don't mind this. Now, a lot of people will say, why are you challenging B? Because, you know, they've pretty much already got it. But I actually don't mind this. You still, even though A is the only point to take, you still need to cover the whole map. So let's say, for example, you know, you sat here, you know, mid tank, and you had someone convoy. They can still get all the way around the right and be a real issue. So even though there is only A left, you still need people watching this right-hand lane. So at the end of the day, if you're getting kills and you get 4 down and you already have someone in this right-hand lane, you've got them trapped from this side, you've got them trapped through middle if someone's, you know, pushed through middle, and then you've got them trapped from this side. So they're literally, you make it so that there's only 3 lanes you need to watch. And then on the other hand, if you don't do that, you end up, you know, leaving the whole of the right-hand side completely open. And obviously that's not a great thing to be doing. So, oh, that's a tough gunfight. Yeah, so sub, fine. I think you deserve to lose that just because they had a gun that was made for that gunfight, whereas you didn't. So movement's clean. Clearly a good player. Slide through there to get the cover. Yeah, that's a tough gunfight. You didn't really see them. The name didn't even appear there. I don't think I can criticize too much on that one. It's really awkward. Okay. Now this is just an awful spawn. You should know where, if they're pushed that far into your spawn, then you should spawn blue. So that's not down to you, that's down to the game just being awful. The player who's just killed you probably know that there's that gap in the spawn. I don't think you need to jump. So what I'm seeing a lot in your gunfights is when you jump, you're losing, and when you're not jumping, you're winning the gunfight. So you win that gunfight absolutely fine. Now, I think I know why you've jumped. It's because you then see more of your enemy. You know, they're not covered by this car so much. But if we take that back literally a couple of steps, we get this kill. You can see the enemy perfectly fine without having to jump. But the biggest thing I've noticed when you jump in this game is that your bullets just go astray. There's some sort of netcode error or some reason. When you jump in gunfights, it can cause you to lose. If you don't jump here, I guarantee you win that gunfight. Doesn't matter, your teammate's got the trade. It's now 7-11, so it's looking tight. There's a minute left, so they've got plenty of time to get 11 kills. Nice gunfight win. Brilliant two-piece. Yeah, I don't mind this. We're backing up just to play it a little bit safer. Now, the only thing I don't quite like about that situation is your teammates have all died and they're spawning back here. Now, I'd have liked to have seen you see, you know, instead of challenging this middle, trust your teammates to get that. At the moment, you have no one watching the whole left-hand side of the map. So as soon as you realise your teammates have died, in your head, you need to be going, okay, I at least need to put pressure on the left-hand side of the map here, because otherwise it frees it up for them to just run through. And then what eventually happens, as we've seen here, they hop the point for free. So when you are the only person up, you need to make sure you've got most of the cross to the hill. Even if you're not getting the kills, put some damage up, just apply a little bit of pressure so they don't walk onto the hill completely free. And even if you do die, you've got, you know, a little bit of info for your team. But I do feel like you don't really need to die in this situation because the lives are so low. So arguably didn't play it too badly, but yeah. Nice trade. Good gunfight. Now, when I say about jumping in gunfights, I do feel like it's worthwhile doing it at real close ranges because they're the situations in which the jumping will benefit you. But in the medium to long range gunfights, I don't feel like we should. You need that. Okay, good round. They got 3 ticks. So all you need to do is really get B. If this were me, from a strategic point of view, you're really playing for that offense. So what I would personally do in this, for that defense, sorry, on round 5. So what I would personally do from this perspective is just guarantee 3 ticks at B and then play the rest of the round at A. Just trying to get that extra tick to, you know, one-up them. Yeah, don't really mind this. Now, you're quite close to streaks, so I'd be very aware that you have got streaks you should be playing for here. Nice, really good kill. Good use of the map. Now you have a stun. Now I get you might get a weird timing here, but what I would do is probably take cover a little bit behind something, throw a stun there, throw a dead nade just to stop your, you know, worry of someone coming through there for a little bit, and then allow your teammates who are just coming through here to pick that up afterwards. But it's fine, your teammates picking up the front. The only problem I have with this spot is that if anyone is coming through the alley here, personally, this is what I do. I'm pre-aiming the spot. This is a very, very, very common lay down spot to watch dark from the point, and as a result, I'm literally going to be flying out here, slide cancel, camera, and beam this spot automatically if I know people are on the point. So yeah, we'll see how this pans out. But personally, I do feel like there's that's rough. Again, a stun or a nade there may have given you info that you needed and would have allowed you to either completely focus on that, or, you know, it's info at the end of the day. You can communicate it to your team. You can decide whether or not you want to play front or that side. And if you'd have known someone was there, would you have perhaps left it, or would you have picked up DVD? Probably not. So again, use of tactics there would have probably saved you a little bit. Nice, we get through. Right, I'm rewinding this just to see how that pans out. So we see a player back there on the mini-map. Yeah, they're ready for that. I bet they've already pre-aimed. No, we can't see it. So what I would have done in that situation differently is, again, you have a stun. Bounce the stun off this cinder block or this cement block, whatever you want to call it. It will bounce over to them. It's a bloody free kill. Honestly, it's a free kill. That, or you can lie down on the point, happily capture it, and pre-aim this side of the hill and trust your teammates to pick up the backhand side of the hill here. All you need to do, stick a trophy at your feet, sit down behind some cover or lay down behind some cover on A, and watch this area. What they would have to do is over-challenge into the hill, meaning that they're going to have to check, 4 different corners in the point itself. And yeah, you just got to trust your teammates who got the back. That's probably personally what I would have done. But if you did want to push them, like what you're doing, use your stun or nade, man. Yeah, because we're just completely not ready for that gunfight, and they're expecting someone to chill out of that. At the end of the day, when you get off the point, it makes a noise, so they will know that when you've just walked out of that A zone, it's going to make a dun, or I can't remember what the noise is. That's an example, and they're going to go, okay, someone's come off the point, let me check that. A good player will know that's what you've done. But as I say, personally, I'd have stayed down on the point, watch the angle, and trust my teammates to watch the flank. And that way, you'd be somewhat close to getting A. You'd have applied, forced them to apply some pressure towards the A point. Good kill there. That goal was going to be a nightmare if you hadn't got that kill. I'm not seeing much trophy usage yet. Oh, that's tough. Not even sure if that punch registered. Okay, so we're currently up on ticks, so this is really good. So you're in a super good position now. So even if you don't get any more ticks, you really want to play your life, because what it will come down to if you've got the same amount of ticks is kills and therefore lives. So you need to be very careful now that you've got the tick advantage. You don't throw too many lives away in comparison to how many kills you're getting just to get this A point. Okay, that's going to happen. Now, personally, not surprised that's happening. You don't have info on many of the team here. So you've got one player here. Your teammates have pretty much pushed out the left-hand side, so you can sort of assume they've got a lot of the right-hand side of your map where you're looking here. This area on the right-hand side of your screen here is going to be covered from by the enemy, because your teammates are pushed up on the left here. You've seen a red dot, that right-hand that area there, so you can assume that the enemy's sort of closest to you. They're not on point, but they could be like gas, that sort of area, and you've just shot. So you're going to have people looking for you almost immediately. So use your stuns, delay their push, but reposition. Definitely reposition. You've just shot. You only know where one of them are. Chances are they're coming for trades, because if he's in a team, he's shouting, he's bloody one shot. So you need to try and reposition in this situation. Whether you back up to the grass and stay a glitch, or whether you drop a dead nade to create some smoke and run over to the car, anything like that will benefit you. But staying in the same position is definitely not the one. Yeah, he knows where you are. You're not sure where they're going to be coming from. Yeah, he's just dived out there like an Olympic gymnast. Yeah, that's tough. You got chased down. Again, you're still up on live, so I'm not too concerned. You've got 50 seconds left. This is actually a very winnable round. You just need to win your gunfights, take your time, get a few kills, and then push up as a team, and then hope you trade the rest of the kills that are still up. So personally, from a level, is this guy? How does this guy know you're here? Did he see you? I'm concerned as to why he turned around. He hasn't seen you yet. So this player is shooting your teammate to the left, fine. And this player's just killed him. I'm then unsure as to why this player has come and challenged you. Perhaps they were following you, or perhaps they're coming from P2. Yeah, not sure why they've challenged you there. A bit bizarre. But yeah, in a position like this where you've got 30, 40, 50 seconds left, lives are looking pretty slim. Because essentially, if you kill people, if you've got a full team wipe now, only 3 of them are going to spawn back in because there's only 7 lives. The best thing you can do in this situation from a tactical standpoint is stay as a team, or like get a couple of kills first without dying, play for those really vital 2 kills, then focus on regrouping as a team. There's a 3.5 second spawn delay on, so they're going to spawn up while you're regrouped as a team. You trade the next 2 players out, so that's a 2 versus the rest of their team. But yeah, it's vital to get the first kills in this sort of situation. Yeah, I'm not sure why this guy shot you, or how he shot you. Maybe you just got bad timing. Maybe you didn't realize you were there. But coming out of that situation there, you could easily see that there was a player here. I think you went to, yeah, you should have probably been aware of that player, and perhaps just ran away. Ran to the point. There's limited time left. A's pretty open at this point. You've got a player just sort of in calf. You've got 2 of the enemy team on the left hand side here. If you literally decide to leave these guys, run into calf, and then to point, it's a 2v2 maximum on A. So yeah, as I say, you don't necessarily need to take these gunfights on, but it's just weird timing that got you death anyway. So yeah, I think this round is GG. I think we're in a little bit of a sticky situation. I like this pre-aim. Someone's on the left. This is good awareness. Yeah, that's bound to happen. Again, we're staying when the enemy team have info, we're staying in the same position for a little bit too long, and it's allowing you to be called out and then just run down. Yeah, they're pre-aiming you there. In that situation where you feel a little bit stuck, you've got people in the middle on the enemy team and around all A, S, and D, you need to sort of take your time, throw a nade over from your spawn, get on weak, and then you can leave it. But 9 times out of 10, you do not want to be pushing through dark when they're AS&D, just because you're not going to win it. Apologies, by the way, for itching my nose. I got blooming allergies. Wow, that guy's absolutely shredded you. Okay. Now, I guess this is why I do it, but what I do when I come off this area of the map, I'm always throwing it. So I tend to cook a nade to run it and then just like throw it between these 2 buildings pretty evenly. Now, if it goes far enough, it cuts the people off going through P4 to the middle tank or to dark. If you throw it a little bit short, it also blows up the cars at AS and D. So it's a really good nade to throw. And yeah, I would definitely use these. I don't think you're using these quite as much as you should be in this gameplay. But yeah, that would have probably saved you there. You'd probably at least done some damage that have hidden. Yeah, definitely throw a nade there towards the cross. It's a very common spot to go. At the end of the day, he had really good shots, so it's what it is. I'm intrigued what we're doing here. Okay, so we put lightweight boots on. We've got quick grip. Okay. So we have quick grip, but I'm not seeing you use your stuns, nades, and trophies, which is arguably the main focus of quick grip. So I do feel like that perk might be being wasted on you. I do feel like marksman may be better, or even assault. If you like jump shotting like you are, assault gloves may benefit you considerably. You got a kill. That's all you can really ask for there. You got traded out. Simple as that. And I don't really mind this emphasis towards B. The only thing I would say is you don't need to do this. So, at this point, you want to get as far up as past B as you possibly can. A is written off. A is written off. You want to sort of, at this point, you want to create a line of defense towards B, as I say, as much as you can. You want to, A's gone, this is gone. And then you don't need to worry about that. What you need to do, you need to run up to the spawn as far as you can and be that first line of defense, holding off this line of sight. That can either be from the tank, that can be from the construction heady there, that can be from the digger. But at the end of the day, you need to communicate and be that first player up to say, okay, teammates, they can't come from B. When you come off spawn, all you need to pick up is middle and left. But realistically, you can hold B from the point itself. initially, and then when you get the 4 kills, 3 kills down, then you spread out to the middle, then you spread out to the left-hand lane there, just to make sure they can't come through any of these exits. This is good. I like the fact that we've pushed B here, but you need to get through. You need to be that player who gets through. You're the furthest up. Let your teammates pick up mid. You've given up the whole map control to the right-hand side of your screen there just to get some kills and cut off mid, when the teammates behind you could be doing that. So your teammate there, the random teammate, well, he probably should have pushed up there himself, but hey, we get a kill. Now the problem is when we're dying in this situation, they're in their spawn. They've got all map control now. If you're dying, you're spawning all the way back at gas. Let me just replicate this here quickly. If you're dying, you're spawning all the way back at gas, all the way over here, and they're already pushed up past this mark here. So any kills they get now are going to be, you know, you're going to be the other side of the B line. They can literally hop onto B very easily, and I will not be surprised now if they win this round whatsoever. So yeah, all I'm trying to say is you either need to play a disgusting heady, play for a guaranteed kill there, or yeah, just not die. I get you got a kill and you're trying to hold middle, but you really need to push up and play for the first kills first, and then you can spread out to middle. Good gunfight, good kill. I need to see you using a trophy. I need to see you using any sort of stun, nade, anything. Even when you're coming off spawn there, you could see on the radar that was someone on the tank. Lob a nade over. Okay, so you know there's 3 pushing up really close to B here. They're not quite on the point yet. Have a look at your attack map, see how close your teammates are to the point, and throw a nade. You need to deter them from hopping on the point as much as you can. There's a guy on the tank there. Nade him. Nade him. Now, if it's... I'm assuming you can throw nades. If you can't throw nades and you feel a little bit not quite comfortable in your nade ability, you need to try and get better at your nades. It's as simple as that. Get into a fire range, get into a 1v1 with your teammates and do like a nade-only 1v1 across maps and stuff. It will make you a better nade thrower, trust me. And for situations like this, it's going to get you so many more kills. It's going to deter the enemy pushing to the objective, and as a result, you're probably going to win more and then get more SR. Because other than the odd jump shot making you miss, your gun skill's pretty good. I do feel like it's just the lack of utilities that I'm seeing so far, which is the main reason that you're not quite getting to that next level. So you haven't been able to re-establish a good position since you did that since you died that mid tank. So this just goes to prove that if you played your life a little bit more carefully there, if you pushed up the map, gained some map control, and allowed your teammates to fill in the gaps behind you, and then play for some kills, play like a dirty head glitch and guarantee some kills, once you get a couple, then spread out across the map, you'd have probably been in a far better state. But the fact is, you challenged, you then spawned all the way in the depths of gas station, and they were already pushed up the map at that point, so they're going to win. Yeah, it's too late at that point, I think. Okay, so we need an offense win here. I am 100% going A. Now, for those of you who aren't quite sure the best way to go A, here is a little bit of a demonstration. So, if you pull a sprint out, I tend to have a separate class solely for the A push on invasion. It has lightweight, it has a pistol which has like the fastest attachments on it, and it means you can get to A pretty quickly. Now, you want to do the most direct route to A. As you get to about here, you want to throw a grenade over towards sort of this area of the map. That will deter the enemy pushing who have jumped over the wall and try to get around this way. That'll clear them out. And then all you want to really try and do is get people on the point. You want about 2 people on the point, just watching front. So you have someone in one corner, say here, watching over, and then the next person laying down. That's the best place to do it, as long as you can't get killed from this area here. You want to make sure you're not dying from this area here, so you want to make sure you're covered from there. And then the 2 people who aren't on the point, stick a trophy down here, sit on this car, and just watch the flank. because you don't need to really be too conscious about the point here at the front, because at the end of the day, your teammates on the hill should pick up the front. But as long as whoever's not at the front, whoever's not on the hill, picks up the flank, making sure that people can't cross the front here, or decide to run around this way. As long as this player here catches that player off guard, all these two people need to do is watch the front. And 100%, if you need to win an offensive control invasion, you need to be trying to get that A push here, especially if you haven't done it yet in the gameplay, because that way it's a little bit more unpredictable. But by the looks of it, we're going B. Again, we're playing for these offcuts. I'm not entirely sure this is the play. We've just seen 3 people go left, if I'm not mistaken. Let me slow this down a little bit. This might have been done a little bit too soon, so bear with me. Just count the people. 1. He's gone left. Yeah, he's gone left. That's 1. Another person back there. Okay, 2. Fine. 2 people have gone left. Why are we then not going A? If we know there's 2 people have gone left, screw them. Get your ass over to A and cap that point. A is the harder point to capture. Arguably, it tends to be the harder point to capture. If you know 2 of the enemy team have gone the left-hand side of the map, you need to be making the most of that map control on the right-hand side and just push A. Now, the only reason I would say pushing A over B here is because it seems for you guys that is the harder hill to get, the harder capture point to get. I'd leave a player there, help your teammates at A, make sure you've got their flank. Tell them so you need to be in the mix at A here. So in the position you're in, let's paint this out quickly here. Remove all these gubbings. So in the position you're in, you are what, mid tank? No, you're a front DVD. Okay, you're a front DVD. So let's say, like here, you've got a teammate on A and you have a teammate on B. You have no idea where the enemy team are, but you need the A capture. You will win the game here if you capture A. I'm convinced, because they've got no one here. So the teammate, what you can do from this position is you can, moving the wrong screen. What you can from this position is decide to, you know what, I need to be beneficial here. What I think you're going to do is run all the way around here and, play for some cuts off spawns. I don't really think that's required. Considering how close you are to getting A, from this position here, I would most definitely run up front rugs, make sure rugs is clear, run all the way back down here and just watch the rear push. You can then communicate to your team that you've got the flank. They don't need to worry about this side. All they need to do is watch forward. And then you might guarantee the point here, but at the end of the day, what you've done is you've ran all the way around here, left your teammate alone, and I don't know what's going to happen yet, but I do feel like you're going to let them die. So they're contested, and they die. So yeah, I definitely think we need to prioritize A control a little bit more there. As I say, especially if we can see 2 people down. This is definitely a winnable round. 100% definitely a winnable round. Okay. Good use of nade, by the way. Nice to see. See how long we were there. That was a bloody long time we were there waiting, so... We were in that gunfight. 41. 10 seconds? More than 10 seconds we were waiting for that player. That is a massive 10 seconds you can use to get map control at the right-hand side of the map there. You know that player's there. You can live mark it. You can ping it to your teammates. You can communicate to your teammates that there's a player stuck there. Leave them. They're not stopping you from getting A. A is, probably the main focus for you right now. As you're already here, let your teammates deal with that person whilst you progress up the map right hand side here. So your teammates are clearly asking for help, but All that map control you gained over the A side there has just been given up completely. Yeah, we're in a 6 situation here. We've got like, what, 20 seconds left and we need to capture a point. There is no time to go away. You've got to go directly to B, throw your nades over, and win those gunfights initially. Whether you go through middle, cut through DVD, or whether you just hit it bang on, you do not have time to take, you know, silly routes around the map. So let's see how we do this here. Nice kill. Great 2-piece. Massive 2-piece, potentially game-winning 2-piece. Nice. You now have 1 whole minute to get 1 tick or get 8 kills without dying 11 times. This should be doable. So like they're slowly playing up the map. Yeah, sticky situation. Again, we've shot and then stayed exactly where we are for a little bit too long there. That's tough. I'm not sure why we're rushing so much. So I think there's a massive... I think the urgency is still following on from when you were capping B or had to cap B. I don't think there's much urgency now. You have a whole minute to try and get 1 tick on A or a few kills. Personally, yeah, we die here. That's a shame. When we spawn back in, you are 4 stack running down the left-hand side of the street, wrapping all the way around gas and pinching A. We're rushing a direct route to the point through an area we have pretty much no cover on. You have no info as to where they are. They could be on the convoy watching this way. They could be on the right-hand corner. There could already be someone AS and D. You have no info whatsoever. What info you do have is there's no one left street, bar maybe someone top blue. You need to communicate to your team. The whole left street's open. Run down there. You maybe get the guy at blue. At least trade them. And then push through gas and just infiltrate from the backhand side there. But you need to do it as a complete unit and not run into middle where you have absolutely zero information on where enemies are. Five 4, 25 seconds. 5-3. That's a massive 3-piece from VG. Fortunately gets traded. So those 3 are going to be coming off spawn. So you're pretty much probably just as close to the hill as they are. Bar that one player who just killed your teammate, obviously. Big kill, 3v2. Let's have a look. And it's a 1v1. It's a 1v1. And I know this isn't you, but I'm going to still criticize it because, you know, there's people watching. It's a 1v1 and we know exactly where they are. Why are we not throwing a stun there? Do I see that player? So we went into calf, pinched calf, so he's coming from AS and D. Why are we not throwing a dead nade? Personally, I'm stunning it out that way, throwing a dead nade, and make sure they can't push. That's literally what I'm doing. What you've done now by losing that line of sight is you're in a losing situation. I've got to be honest here. You're probably going to lose this either way now because at the end of the day, you don't know whether they're going to be coming from your front, or this player doesn't know whether they're going to be coming from the front or the back. This player on the other team could literally has plenty of time. There's only one person on the hill. They can wrap all the way around on the right-hand side and pinch. This player needed to get their stun, they need to get their nade out, and they need to just make sure hold that line of sight and not get shit up. All they needed to do. Yeah, that's tough. Okay, so there's a few things. Thank you for anyone who's still watching. I know it's been a little bit of a drag, but 45 minutes in, we're nearly there. So first things first, I do think the class settings need to be changed a little bit. That nade, by the way, going back a little bit, that nade is what you needed to do the last defense. 100%. I don't know why we didn't do it. Anyway, you have quick grip on, from what I saw. I may be wrong, let me know if I'm wrong. And you don't tend to use your trophies whatsoever. I don't think I saw you use a trophy once the entire game. Maybe a couple of times I missed, but I didn't see any trophies thrown. And obviously that's going to do incremental help to you and your team. Yes, you may not have died to many nades or many stuns, but your teammate may have, and your teammates may have been performing better with a result of you using those trophies. You're also using your nades and stuns very, very little. Try and implement them a little bit more into your gameplay, and you should be absolutely fine. Obviously know when to use them, but at the end of the day, they provide so much info, they can do great damage, and they can be a deterrence to the enemy crossing a certain area. If you throw a nade on an area they need to be, and there's a nade just sat there, they're going to be less inclined to hop that area because there's a grenade there. So you need to use those a little bit more. Watch some practice, maybe watch players who use it well, maybe watch some CDL and see how they use their nades, and just try and mimic what they're doing and where they're throwing it and what positioning they're throwing it at. So yeah, I don't know, either use them more or change it from quick grip to assault, because the next thing I want to say is a lot of the gunfights you lost was because you were jumping mid gunfight, and that, for whatever reason in this game, throws out massively. If you ever, as I say, if you ever watch pros or like really good gamers at this game, they don't often jump shot, or at least when they do, it's at close range like that. So yeah, try and reduce the amount of jump shot you're doing, unless you need to, unless there's a guy behind cover and you need to, you know, see more of them. But there's an example here where we jump shotted and lost because of that. So yeah, try and tone down your jump shot. You don't need to do it every gunfight. Get into a bot lobby and just try and shoot bots without doing it, and it should become natural to you. The next thing I want to do is just mention something that's a little bit more niche to control. We are giving up a lot of map space. You started reading the map really well at the beginning of the gameplay here. You filled the gaps where it was needed, but there were so many times, especially on that defense where they already captured A, we could have maintained so much B control there and stopped them getting it completely, and you'd have won that round perhaps. Or at least you'd have had a much better, that's the jump shot I was referring to, by the way. You'd have had a much greater chance of winning that round if you'd have just pushed up B and maintained that B control. There's also something I really want you to remember. In a situation where you have a lot of time on the clock, your lives are to your advantage, but maybe there's 5, 6, 7 lives left on the enemy team, you need to work as a team collaboratively, get 2 kills initially, you know, play for the guaranteed. You've got a minute to get 7 kills. Play for 2 kills, that reduces it down to 5, and then as a unit progress towards the objective. You've got 2 can off spawn, which means there's only 2 you've got to deal with as a 4-man, and then you can then hopefully trade out. Even if you get traded perfectly, it's then a 2 versus the 2 just coming off spawn, but you're on the objective, so they've got a sprint. They're going to play more predictably. So that's what I would say there. But yeah, so to summarize, sort out your class if you're not going to use attacks and stuns much, but I would advise using them. Don't jump shot so much in mid gunfight, apologies. And then in control, you need map control as much as you can. You need to be blocking off, especially on invasion. There's literally only 3 lanes you need to watch: A Street, mid, and B Street. And then from those, there's multiple headers you can sit on. So you need to establish that control before you pull back and try and watch anything else. And if you've got teammates behind you in control, let them pick up the things that are further away from you. So yeah, as far as rank goes, 100% you can hit area again. Your shots generally are pretty good. Your movement's clearly clean. There's just some real fine-tuning things you need to do before you quite reach that level. But if you're in a 3-stack, you're clearly in a competent 3-stack, you probably win tons anyway. You might already be there by the time I'm watching this. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was useful for those of you who isn't PK. And I'll see you in the next one. Ciao for now.